When Carol says persistence pays off, she wasn't kidding. All of you here know Carol, and you know how determined she was. Personally, I didn't really ever have any doubt we were going to get a gym because Carol Hearn wasn't going to quit till we did. Okay, where's my little, Mr. Shoes. Okay, Karen, do you want to music on? Who's doing that, Mike? Are you doing that? Thank you. Here we are in June. We had just had a kind of a ceremony. We had Stan Krause come up and help Carol do the first dig the ground. It was really exciting. We decided that gym, as it grew, was the biggest thing this country's grown in a lot of years. Here they all are, their cheering section, the whole school. Notice our true science teacher, Mr. O'Shea, studying the angle of that shovel. Here, kind of a more formal pose, but Mr. O'Shea was still studying that shovel. There's Mr. Irresistible behind the sign there, or the reigning Mr. Irresistible in his sunglasses. I promised him I'd mention that. This was our grade 1 class last year. They didn't know what all the excitement was about digging in the ground with a shovel, but they thought that's all right. Our staff. And last year we had Marge Knelson with us. And of course over beside me there, second from the, well, you're right I guess, is Donna Miner, our secretary aide. And she couldn't be here. She's in Edmonton today in an NHL hockey game. Carol told her she had her priorities all mixed up. Here we are in June, Stuart Olson pulling in all their stuff. We were a little worried this day. I mean, when you got construction started and they pull in this, we thought it was an ambulance. Then they promptly started adding to the beauty of our school grounds. Here we are pouring the footings. Standing up there on top is Trevor Killington, those of you who don't know him. And down in the pit there is our, I guess he was called the supervisor of the job. His name is Angus Carr. We were really disappointed he couldn't be here tonight. He went right from working here to Lake Louise. Can you imagine a bigger contrast than that? And he just couldn't make it, but he felt really bad, and we really miss him around here. He was a really nice guy, and we enjoyed his company. And of course, the kids watched everything they did. This is another guy, local, Darcy Barnes. He worked here. He looks like he's trying to decide if he can jump that far or not. Another local up there in the red hard hat is Danny Spielberg, pretending he knows what he's doing with bricks. Here we are, the wall's going up. You can see by the trucks and all the stuff that, well, I imagine most of you drove by a time or two, you saw all the confusion around here. The inside was just about as bad. This is Owen playing in the mud. We thought he'd outgrown it, but I guess not.
Come on. This way.
Owen again, cheating using a tractor to move the bricks. And here we are down in the hole here at the front is Patrick Miner, Donna's oldest son. He's in grade 12 this year. He said quite a few days he thought this job was the pits, and that day kind of proved it. Just some of the landscaping nightmare that we had. By the speed Trevor's going there, I think it must be coffee time. Notice the lean on the flagpole, and that was there before. We can't blame the construction on that. It was there before. So they got rid of it. They just took the flagpole down. I gotta tell you too, you know, one thing Angus told me, and this is a real compliment to all the kids and to the parents also. When they were building, the very first day of school, Carol took the kids at morning exercise and she said, now kids, there's a line. It goes straight down this driveway and it goes straight behind the school to the fence. Nobody crosses it because the construction was all on this side and not one kid did. And Angus was really impressed with that. He said, you know, in a city building a school or building on, he said those kids would have drove us crazy. And he said not one kid came near anything, and he was really impressed with the Bindloss kids. He just didn't know what Carol had threatened them with. Walls are going up. There was one night that they had 3 walls fastened up, and had been a terrible wind all day. I know it's hard to imagine a wind in this country, right? But there was a big wind warning out that there was a real storm on its way, and the radio was covered, wind warning, and all the guys were going home. And he said, hold it guys, there's one wall that's just kind of dangling there. There's no, and they said, well, nothing we can do about it. They didn't have enough cable, and Carol did her darndest to get those guys to stay and hold that wall up, but they wouldn't. Looking into the doorway, it was finally starting to look like a building where you had to go through a door. Now, I'm not just sure what happened here. You see the pit, and you see the shovel, and you see 2 hard hats. And the rest you'll have to figure out for yourself. I don't know. This is a guy that came from Calgary along with Angus. His name is Ross Lazenby. And we had a lot of fun with Ross. He didn't talk much. He didn't say much. So you really had to get to know him. He had a nickname, Rambo, by the time he left, but that's for reasons I guess you'd have to ask Ross. And this must be payday. Here we are on the inside. We're working on the mezzanine. Down here on the bottom is Patrick again. He's working on, it was the whacker, right, Carol, they call it? What was it called? It was a packer, but he called it the whacker. They told him it would kill any brain cells you had because they put this poor kid on it for days at a time, and this kid had hurts where he didn't know it could hurt. But he did get even one day. Well, Trevor one day greased the inside of his hard hat to initiate him into the crew. But Patrick got even. Trevor went to go home that night, and his door handles and his steering wheel and his gear shift and everything were covered in liquid honey, and he had quite a trip home. He said it did build muscles. Now, notice the smile on Carol's face, sitting with all these men. Tell you who they are here. On the end in the red shirt is Jack Chan. He was from Stuart Olson, and then Carol, and then Brent, and he is from Grant Watson's office, the architect's office, but we can't remember his last name. Next to him is Earl Carlson, our maintenance supervisor, and standing up there looking important is Angus. And the next 2 gentlemen, the one in the green shirt is the head electrical engineer, but we couldn't remember his name either. And beside him is Peter Schroeder from Stuart Olson. We had cranes. This interested the kids to watch, but they were really good about not going over the line. Now here's Angus and Darcy. It looks like he's telling him he missed the spot way over there or something. This is a gentleman, his name is Terry Zachary from Medicine Hat. He was out here doing some brickwork. Apparently he's quite an excellent golfer from Medicine Hat. Trevor, I don't know how Trevor got in all these pictures. Trevor's favorite job this was. He kept asking if they couldn't use the glue gun, but Angus wouldn't let him. You see we're getting into cold weather now. Ross was out in front doing the cement work, and he had done that one little pad on the far right side, and of course didn't put a ribbon across, and school got out, and I went out at noon, and here's these 3 footprints across the cement. But apparently the kids saw him, and one of the little guys headed across for the playground. He didn't see he was that cement, and he got part way across and realized, and then he did his best to tippy-toe back out. Finally starting to get done, the work on the inside, and I think the work on the inside took a whole lot longer than the work on the outside. A whole lot messier too. Finally our floor is in. Now, this is just the taping on. This is our friend Abe from Centaur, who was doing the lines. This is our upstairs storage room. You'll have to all go up and have a look a little later. The electrical boxes are shelving up there for storage. The teachers have already hauled quite a bit of stuff up there already. And the escape ladder for fire or for going up and working on the upstairs furnace. Carol and I went up that ladder several times one night when it was 40 below trying to fix the furnace. Do a lot of weird stuff in this job. The girls' washroom, for those guys that can't go in it tonight and look. Maybe you can, I don't care. I could ask the masonry people a lot of questions. This is the boys. There's 2 showers. I don't know how much time the kids will have to use them in school hours, but. And this is my office. See how I rate? And that's my bathtub down there. Neil tells me, other maintenance man tells me he ordered it just for me. It was just going to be an excellent thing, but all I seem to do is splash all over the floor, so I don't know. And you can't look at it tonight because it's locked. And the reason it's locked is because I accidentally hit the button. And it's locked, and all the keys for the entire school are inside.